Good morning, Clinton College students, faculty, staff, alumni, and friends. My name is Gavin Gabriel, and I'm a first-year religious studies major from Lake Norman, North Carolina. Welcome to the first installment of the Spring 2022 Virtual Beacon Forum series of Clinton College. The purpose of our Beacon Forum series is to bring together our campus community each Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon for a dedicated time of inspiration, education, and fellowship. Beacon Forum exposes our Clinton family to a variety of thought leaders, change agents, creatives, and innovators who embody one or more of our core values: scholarship, servant leadership, social change, and spirituality. Beacon Forum gives us an opportunity to have meaningful conversations with each other and professionals who are making a difference in our world. We encourage all Clinton students to actively participate in the Q&A segment with our guest speaker, led by our president, Dr. Lester McCorn. Share your questions and reflections in the comments throughout today's event, and especially during the Q&A. We want your input. We are delighted to have our featured speaker today, Dr. Jamel Hodges of Edward Waters University, located in Jacksonville, Florida. On behalf of the entire Clinton College family, we say thank you to our friends from the community for spending part of your day with us. Be sure to follow our social media platforms for updates on future events, new academic programs, course offerings, and other activities. We hope you will enjoy today's broadcast. We will now have a performance of our Negro national hymn, Lift Every Voice and Sing, by Atlanta-based neo-soul artist Choreology.
Good morning, Clinton.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening sky. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. So let us march on till victory is won. Let's go. March on. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn and died. But yet with the steady beat, have not our weary feet come to the place for which our Father sighed. We have come over a way that with tears have been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughter, out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, to keep us forever the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places of God where we met thee, lest our hearts drunk with the wine of the world we forget thee. Shadow beneath thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land. Yeah, true to our God, true to our native land. Oh, da da da, true to our God, our native land. True to our God, true to our native land. True to our God, true to our native land. I see true to our God, true to our native land. Yeah, to your I see
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream.
Good morning, Clinton family. My name is Tamiko Coleman, and I'm coming to you all the way from Staten Island, New York. I'm a global student working on my bachelor's degree in religious studies. This morning, I have the honor of bringing the invocation. I invite you all to pray with me. Most Heavenly Father, I thank you for another day. Father, thank you for the virtual space. Bless this Beacon Forum today, Father. Open everyone's eyes, ears, hearts, and soul to receive all that will be said on this day. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Good morning, Golden Bears, and to our Clinton guests. We are so happy you are joining us for our first Beacon Forum of the spring 2022 semester. I'm Dr. Angeline Brown, and I'm proud to represent our Division of Student Success, which includes athletics, counseling, campus ministry, residence life, student engagement, and our very brand new program, Performing Arts. And so again, we want to say welcome. You will hear from Dr. McNeil, who's a member of our team, and also Dr. Morgan, who is a member of our team. They will share with you some of the exciting events they have planned for us in reference to student success. I want to encourage all of our students to participate, to get engaged in the campus community. The role of student success is to make sure that you have a wonderful, outstanding, positive collegiate experience. We are here to support you throughout your collegiate tenure. We're also here to help you get through any challenges that you may have during the semester. So again, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this Beacon Forum.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. Tony McNeil. And as Dr. Brown has stated, I am the Director of Performing Arts at Clinton College. And all of the performing arts have now been moved into the Student Success Program. And we are excited about being a part of that team. So I'm here today to talk to you about all of the ways that you can engage the campus virtually through the performing arts. Number one, being choir. We will be offering our Clinton College Choir this semester through virtual learning. And I'm still doing auditions. For those of you that are interested in participating in choir, send me an email. My email address is tmcneil@clintoncollege.edu. tmcneil@clintoncollege.edu. to schedule your audition for this week. Also, we invite those of you who are singers, performers, you dance, you do spoken word, you rap, whatever creative art that you have, we are interested in incorporating performances of your gifts here in Beacon Forum and in our chapel worship experience. Our chapel service happens once a month. And we have one coming up at the end of this month on January 30th. And we're going to, it is a time for us to bring our campus community together to have a worship service. And we invite a clergy conversation partner to come in and lead us in a time of discussion and a time of reflection. And it's a wonderful experience that all of you are invited to participate in. We want you involved. Do not let the fact that we are apart physically cause you not to engage with the campus. There are ways that you can do that. If you're interested in choir, performing or sharing your gifts, attending or being a part of our chapel program, please let me know. I would love to work with you and have you be a part of the programming that we have. Thank you so much for joining Beacon Forum. We'll meet here every Wednesday at 11 o'clock with some exciting speakers and want you engaged in that as well. Later today, we're going to have a question and answer period where we want you, the students and our viewing community, to engage our guest speaker. Today, we have a talented young man from Jacksonville, Florida, Edward Waters College, Dr. Jamel Hodges. You're going to hear a little bit more about him from Dr. Morgan. And feel free to be a part. We want you engaged. We want you to feel connected to the campus. Choir, chapel, Beacon Forum, and there are other organizations and opportunities that will be shared from Dr. Morgan. Again, I'm Dr. Tony McNeil. Feel free to reach out to me. so that we can get you involved. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm now going to turn it over to Dr. Morgan, who will talk about our student activities, and he will introduce our guest speaker. Thank you so much, everybody.
Good morning, Clinton family. I hope everyone's doing well on this morning. I just want to encourage our students at Clinton College, whether you're residential, commuter, or global, to get engaged at the college this semester moving forward. Right now, we're putting out today our new student organization petition. So if you are interested in starting a new student organization here at Clinton, I encourage you to submit a petition to start a new student organization, whether it's a social club, a state club, a special interest club, or something academically related to the college, such as biology or chemistry or anything of that nature. We're looking forward to engaging all students on all levels, whether you're residential, commuter, or global. Additionally, we will be having our SGA informational coming up next week. So information will be coming out about that. So if any students that are interested in governance policy from a student perspective, we encourage you to apply for our Student Government Association, whether it's our executive board of SGA, president, vice president, secretary, or treasurer, or down on a class level as a class president for our freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors. Outside of that, we will be bringing a long-standing HBCU tradition to Clinton College, which is our HBCU Royal Court program. And so we will have our first ever Mr. and Miss Clinton College. And so that information will be coming up shortly. So please be on the lookout for that. I encourage all of you to follow us on social media, on Instagram at OSER_Clinton. That's where you'll find a lot of the information regarding student engagement and really engagement on campus, virtually and in person. Yesterday, we sent out some information regarding our Campus Activities Board, CAB. And so this community will really be pouring out engagement and really bringing the campus together, whether it's virtual or in person. So you'll be responsible for hosting events on campus, as well as assisting us with homecoming, Spring Fest, and events such as that as well. So we're looking forward to engaging you on all levels at Clinton College moving forward. And so now I would love to introduce our speaker for today, Dr. Jamel Hodges. I've known him for several years. I met him as a new professional in the field at a conference, NASAP at a conference. And so I'm just excited that he has joined us on today. Dr. Jamel Hodges received his Bachelor's of Arts degree in English with a minor in Mass Communication from Virginia State University. His Master's of Science degree from Florida State University in Higher Education Administration, and his doctoral degree from the University of Southern California. Dr. Hodges has served on the Region 3 National Association for Student Personnel Administrators, NASPA, HBCU Task Force, and is an active member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Sigma Tau Delta International English Honor Society, and Alpha Kappa Mu Honor Society. As a student at Virginia State University, Dr. Hodges had the privilege to serve as Mr. Virginia State University on the Royal Court. As a professional, he successfully completed the New Professionals Institute, Mid-Managers Institute, Aspiring Vice Presidents Institute, all sponsored by the National Association of Student Personnel Administration, NASPA. And most recently, participated in the Higher Education Leadership Fellowship, a leadership institute for professionals who serve as leaders at HBCUs. In 2020, he was nominated by his supervisor for the NASPA Minority Serving HBCU Professional of the Year Award. Aside from his full-time work, he also makes time to present leadership development to colleges and universities under his self-made brand, Jamelevate. Today, Dr. Hodges proudly serves as the Vice President for Student Success and Engagement at Edward Waters University, where he continues to engage scholars. Clinton family, please join me as we welcome Dr. Jamel Hodges.
Good morning, good morning. Looking behind at comfort, waving goodbye to loved ones as their image decreases in size the further down the street the car proceeds, pulling you, this new pre-college student, from their nest called home. Looking forward at uncertainty, the unfamiliar pathway towards the stranger called success. All while experiencing emotions mixed like flavors of ice cream on a hot summer day. Happiness, excitement, hope, and fear approaching the welcome new student sign as your heart beats increasingly faster and faster, thumping like the rhythmic beat of synchronized feet during a step show, awaiting your new home away from home. Bumper to bumper, horns are beeping, heads nodding as a sense of acknowledgement as strangers' eyes meet for the very first time, who are soon to become one big family on this yard. Waves, fades, twists, baldies, cornrows, perms, natural locks, coils and curls, and afro puffs sit above the bodies of new and old, returning and transferred, wearing a myriad of colors and fashions. The sound of anxious conversations, fraternity and sorority calls, laughter and music, pumping through the systems of cars on your new home, away from home. Are you ready to meet me? I know you've done your history about me. I welcome you. I am historically Black college or university, but you can call me HBCU for short. Mentored by Mary McLeod Bethune, Booker T. Washington, Thurgood Marshall, and many more. This is just the beginning, for I have high expectations for you to explore. Registration lines, validations, the CAF, Fried Chicken Wednesday and Catfish Fridays. I am HBCU. Crimson and cream, black and gold, purple, pink, blue, green, white, and brown. I am HBCU. Embracing, empowering, leading, inspiring, reaching, teaching, stretching, and breathing. I am HBCU. Standing proudly on the shoulders of my ancestors. I am HBCU. Good morning and happy 2022, and welcome back to Clinton College, home of the Golden Bears. Wow, what an honor to speak to students who make up an institution developed in 1894 that has grown from a normal and industrial institute to a junior college and now a 4-year institution of higher education. You all have a celebrity president. Did you know that? I remember watching School Days as a kid in the 80s and being exposed to the HBCU culture through the big screen for the very first time. Who knew that the young man of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated stepping in the movie would end up growing to be the 13th president of Clinton College, Dr. Lester McCorn, my good friend. I also want to give a shout out to my mentee and good friend, Dr. Tobias Morgan, who has recently joined you all as the Assistant Dean of Student Engagement and Retention. You Golden Bears are surrounded by greatness. You also have Dr. Brown, my colleague and my peer, Vice President for Student Success and Engagement, and Dr. McNeil, the Director of Performing Arts. You see, Clinton College students, I was a high school student at one time, and when I was going to college, I was told that I was not college material. In fact, I was told I wasn't good enough. However, going to an HBCU, specifically Virginia State University, really helped me grow with partnership with my family as well at home, learning how to lead, how to have resilience, how to ask for assistance, and how to use resources were some of the key levels for my success. You see, at Virginia State University, my HBCU, I was able to grow and learn from my peers, faculty, staff, and even alumni. During my time there, I pledged Alpha Phi Alpha, as Dr. Morgan mentioned. I was a member of the men's track and field team, and I even became Mr. VSU. That's right, the same young man with a 2.3 GPA who was told he was not college material. You see, it's about believing in yourself and having a support system. What an amazing end of 2021. Despite a global pandemic and social unrest, you all were able to receive a $3.5 million grant from the Department of Health and Human Services to address health disparities on the south side of Rock Hill. A tuition-free academic year, a partnership with the Propel Center to provide innovative learning and development for HBCUs, and most importantly, students, that's right, you all decided to be resilient and push through in support of your HBCU and maintaining your grades, your behavior, and your engagement. It's all about support. I see my beautiful aunt, Deborah Payton Jones, is logged on from New York. She attended FAMU and is one of the reasons why I attended my HBCU. For some of you, you entered this home of the HBCU wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to explore and learn something new, take it away from mom and dad, wanting to see what this Clinton house had to offer. You started in the basement with orientation and meeting peers for the very first time. But guess what? Many of you grew to the first floor and were able to join student organizations and engage in service learning opportunities. Take a look on the walls of this floor. You now see there are more photos of alumni, photos of opportunities, and for leadership development, maturity, and a greater view of academic success and student engagement. Ha! Don't get bored yet. We're going to keep on rising to the top of this house. Let's take a walk to the next floor. That's right, the sophomore floor, where you all get to learn and engage differently. Less rules, more opportunities for leadership development and experiences, the responsibility of going to the basement and mentoring those freshmen and serving as a role model and beacon of hope for the sophomores on the floor below you. Now we're at the junior floor. Can you believe we're halfway through this tour? This is the floor where you begin to connect with the newly created Campus Activity Board, developed by your Assistant Dean of Student Engagement and Retention, Dr. Morgan. You can join the newly established and revived Student Government Association to lead and serve as the voice for your institution. I hear that your information is going to be next week. Make sure you be there. Your GPA, your love for your Clinton College and respect for administration and connection to faculty, your ability to grow outside the classroom, to learn from your mistakes and to not be perfect, but to give back and teach others. And grow is what we expect you to do on this floor. People hung from trees for you to have a seat at the table. How dare you miss class or be late or be disrespectful or be ratchet on your campus? It's time to represent and respect our institutions of higher education. At this next level, it is expected that you become involved in service learning opportunities, know by face the name and faces of your institution leadership, as well as student leaders, and well-versed in diversity and social justice, as well as inclusion. This is where you must truly have an appreciation of acceptance of others, as you are just one floor from the rooftop of senior year. The real world, that's right. Don't worry, I'm confident that the alumni and administration of the Clinton House will continue to build, develop, and prepare you both inside and outside the classroom. Don't be sad, y'all. I can tell that you're enjoying this tour with me. And while I'm merely a tour guide for merely 30 minutes with you all, for just a small portion of your many hours, days, weeks, months, semesters, and years at Clinton College, I'll be sure to keep my eye on you. I'll watch you all because I have friends who work there. You get to reflect now on the first time you stepped foot on campus, the first time your heart was broken, your first kiss, your first experience, your first time of fear, your first time of success, the first professor that challenged you, and the one that supported you. It's all a part of the process. The first person that said, I believe in you. The amazing growth of new buildings, the development of Greek life, SGA, Royal Court, campus expansions, fundraising, development, and contributions. Yes, welcome to the senior floor. Much different than the basement, the first and second floor, isn't it? Take a look at the floor-to-ceiling windows and the limitless view. You get to see the entire world. This floor has no ceiling because the sky is the limit. Keep in mind, Clinton College students, that A is for attitude. The way you walk into a space is how you'll be treated and how you'll be looked at in terms of your perspective. B is for behavior. Watch how you act in person and on social media, and be sure to always represent that burgundy, black, and gold of Clinton College. And C is for commitment. You see, we have far too many t-shirt wearers in our world today. We need workers who are dedicated and authentic leaders of our institutions of higher education, especially our beautiful HBCUs. It is my hope that as a result of this virtual tour, that you all will be focused on the aims of the Beacon program: scholarship, social change, spirituality, and servant leadership. And that one day I'll be able to join you in person at your institution. I would love to visit you all soon. I want to thank you for allowing me to visit your house at Clinton College. And I now will welcome questions as we now welcome President to the stage. Thank you all for watching, and thanks to my family who's here as well.
Wow. Come on, Dr. Hodges. Come through.
Come on, Prez.
First of all, let me say it's the bow tie for me.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Looking good. What a great message. So powerful. I loved the tour. I loved the metaphors. I could see the images. I hope our students could see it. Many of them have come from the basement and they're now reaching to that top floor. And I hope that they've been inspired by that. To our audience, let me say quickly, if you would like to, and I want to encourage you to put your questions in the chat for Dr. Hodges. We're going to have a few minutes to pick his brain and hear his heart some more. As you heard, he is very, very passionate about student success and student engagement. That's what he does, and he's been in it for a while. So we're gonna delve in a little deeper with Dr. Hodges today to hear more. I want to begin with kind of where you began by talking about how you were told you weren't college material, that you weren't worthy and you weren't ready. How did you overcome that?
Well, I believe that as research shows, family support is everything. I have a strong family foundation. My mother, Patrice Marie, my father, Howard James, raised my sister and I to be resilient, to know our history and our culture, to be respectful. I mean, of course, we talk back every now and then, but for the most part, to really be intentional on what we do. And my mom has 11 siblings. My father has 5, and so we grew up in a very intense and family-focused environment. And so I never believed what the school council said to me, but I did listen to him. I didn't believe it, but I listened. And so had it not been for my family, my aunt Deborah, who's on here right now, my parents, and my younger cousins who I wanted to represent for, I wouldn't have gone to an HBCU. I actually went to Virginia State University during homecoming for back in the 90s. They had Shadow Day where you could bring your friends to school for a weekend. And my friend, the late Jason Ward, shout out to him, he passed away recently, but Jason Ward and Melinda Batts, my school friends, they both attended Virginia State. I'm like, y'all in college? Y'all, this is, y'all ain't smarter than me. So if they're at Virginia State, I can do this. And when I went to the campus and kind of smell the atmosphere and embraced and saw the Greeks and the SGA and all the pomp and circumstance of the HBCU culture, I was blown away. I couldn't believe that was something that I could even reach. And so it allowed me to contact my aunt, talk more about her FAMU experience, and reflect on my grandmother who went to NCCU way back in the day, and to talk about that and learn more and to ask more questions. And so those words, although I don't think he meant it disparagingly, I think he meant it as a way of trying to represent my high school and thinking I wasn't material yet. He probably needed some more cultural competence to understand who I was, who I could be. And so, believe it or not, I believe family support is everything. And then having that, your own self-esteem and self-efficacy is important. So those of you who are watching that have kids that may not be the smartest in school or may not be performing the way you want them to, expose them to things that they like, and you'll see them shine in different ways.
Yeah, good. That's a powerful testimony. Let's talk about the next phase of that. So you overcame the negativity of people not believing that you were college material, and you pressed through, you persevered, you got to Virginia State, but you still had to push through some more, right? Because getting to college is not the same as finishing college.
That's right.
So talk to me about how you overcame the potential negative thoughts. Obviously, I'm just assuming that while you were there, you had doubts, and maybe that voice that you heard before came back up again. Why are you here, Jamel? You don't really have the skills and the abilities. How did you overcome that? And what was it about Virginia State and your HBCU experience that helped you to overcome?
I'm glad you asked that question. So I didn't go to school in the fall. As I mentioned, I didn't say this, but I went later. I was too nervous to mess up to go to school in the fall. So I waited. When I went to homecoming in October of, 93, 92, I didn't go to school until January 93. And so I came in with a smaller cohort, which for me was a benefit. I didn't know it, but the students who were coming in as transfer and new students in spring, It's a much smaller environment. It was like 40 of us. And so we did everything together. We had, the new people shirts on and the new people name tags on. So even to the freshmen, they were like, who are they? We don't know them. And so we stood out and we developed a bond and we promised each other that we would be successful. In fact, Dr. Valerie Jones, who was then Dean of Students, she's a great mentor of mine at Virginia State. She said at the time to me, look to your left, look to your right. One of y'all won't be here in 4 years. What you gonna do to change that? And so again, family support, really having self-efficacy, surrounding myself around people who I know wanted to succeed as well. I was too scared to embarrass my family. And so I hung around people who were talking about doing schoolwork. And I also have fun. I was able to balance that. I stayed in the Office of Student Support Services.
Mm-hmm.
I went to financial aid because I knew my family didn't have all the money in the world. And so I made connections with people that I knew could assist me. And that grew into more support for myself.
Good. I think we've got a couple of questions coming in. I want to field questions from the audience. Again, those of you who are watching, please put your questions in the chat for Dr. Hodges so that he can respond and share more with us. First question is, what college do you work at, Dr. Hodges?
I'm at Edward Waters University.
The Edward Waters University.
Founded in the state of Florida. That's right.
That's right. And Edward Waters recently became a university. Could you talk a little bit about that transition from being a four-year baccalaureate to now a four-year graduate university?
Sure. When we were able to open up our graduate program, it's an online program, and it's been an amazing experience for me because I just got to Edward Waters when this happened. And so our president, A. Zachary Faison, is full of fire and energy. As you know, he's a helper as well. Mm-hmm. And he really has pushed us to become a greater place. And so I owe this experience and all my experiences here to him and my former supervisors as well. And so it's been amazing to see students go from saying EW, EWC to EWU, having to correct alumni, getting brand new paraphernalia, seeing students get involved in our graduate program, and just seeing the pride that it brings not only to the HBCU space, but to Jacksonville and our local community as well.
Yeah, that is great. Congratulations again. So proud of my colleague and brother, Dr. Faison, and the great work that you all are doing there in Jacksonville, Florida. Gavin Gabriel, one of our students, says, your energy in itself is extremely motivating and inspiring. How are you maintaining it and or protecting it?
Thank you, Gavin. I had to match your energy. You introduced me today. You introduced the presentation today, so I had to match your energy. I definitely self-meditate. I love working out. I believe in staying fit as much as I can. I believe in work-life balance at the most part. I believe in connecting with my family. Throughout the entire year and a half of the first part of the pandemic, my family, we engaged in Zooms for sometimes 6 to 7 hours once a week. It really became a thing for us. And I believe in maintaining my sense of peace. And so I think, Mr. Gabriel, working out, staying around college students and, with your energy, remaining young with you all, reading up about health and wellness, but also wanting to be a sense of inspiration for others, keeps me grounded. So thank you for that question. Yes, Dr. McNeil, that was a great question. Thank you.
Indeed.
I'm trying.
Here's another question from Dr. Morgan. Dr. Hodges, what do you believe is the value of students being engaged, involved in campus organizations and activities?
Oh, okay. Well, getting involved on campus. So research shows that those who get involved do far better academically, socially, and even after college in terms of their career settings. When you're involved, you learn how to work with others. You learn about cultural competency. You learn how to deal with conflict resolution. You learn how to program, how to be innovative, creative, how to speak in public. And so you learn how to push and to also be exposed to different personalities and viewpoints. And so I think being involved, I would always tell students that getting involved is key. I also encourage you all, if there's an opportunity to live on campus as well, a lot happens in the living space of a residential facility that you can't get from driving to and from school. I know many of us have to work in college, so I get that. But if students have an opportunity to live on campus, definitely embrace that, at least for a year.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's great advice. Someone wants you, I think this is your auntie, wants you to share with them how to balance their school days to be successful.
Yes, all of our institutions have academic support services. And through freshman orientation, you should hopefully be learning about time management, about saying no to certain things, saying yes to certain things, but also having work or school life balance. I think that's so important. There's a formula out there that says, for every hour of play, you should have 2 to 3 hours of study. And so that's truly, truly important to make sure you're in your academics, that you're studying, but also don't shy away from using campus resources. Oftentimes it's taboo for us to use the counseling support services, academic support services. Those resources are there for a reason, and they're why we grow as a community. PWIs look to what we do at HBCUs and try to create it, what we do naturally. And so I implore you all to definitely look into ways to learn about time management and learn how to balance your day out properly. Thank you, Aunt Deborah.
Yeah, good. How did you begin your journey as a student leader at VSU?
Well, I think Virginia State is no different than any other HBCU where involvement is key. And we look to that as senses of success at our institutions. At Virginia State University, I first got involved in an organization called BBS, the Betterment of Brothers and Sisters. It was a mentorship organization founded by the Dean of Men in 1941 at VSU. It was founded by the Dean of Men at the time. And he wanted to have an environment where men and women could learn together and provide mentorship for sophomores and like the house I talked about, right? When you get out of the basement, you got to look down and pull those freshmen back up again. And so this program is an organization where second semester freshman year, you can get involved in this and then become a mentor to freshmen. That set me on fire in terms of having the responsibility of mentoring others, speaking in public, and then being exposed to our Greek letter organizations and other organizations.
That is wonderful. Good. Man, you really inspired people. I never get this many questions, Dr. Hodges. What extracurricular activities did you participate in while at Virginia State, and talk about that balance with academics?
Sure. Well, at Virginia State University, I was involved in the men's track and field team. I was CIAA champion. We won the CIAA championship for the 4x1. We were able to travel to California to compete. I also was senior class president during my time there. I was Mr. Trojan, now called Mr. VSU. And I pledged the Beta Gamma chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha in the spring of '95. I was stepmaster. And so all those experiences really, really, it forced me to have work-life balance, because you can't be a member of a fraternity or an athlete or a student leader without a good GPA. And so I was forced to balance those things out. For some, it came easy. For me, it didn't. I had to be intentional about that.
Yeah, thank you. I think in many ways you're describing what it means to embody student success and engagement. But for those of us, I'm thinking about, excuse me, students, while I talk to those who work at HBCUs, I think our faculty and staff also need to be inspired by what you have shared with us. Could you talk about what does student success and engagement look like for you to meet your goals and to say that your work, your department, your division has been successful? What does that look like?
For me, it looks like having students look different than they looked when they first came in. It looks like retention, academic and social success for students, spiritually, developmentally, at both in and outside the classroom. To me, we partner. I believe in that connection with academics as well. I think that it also means that our students are out in the community providing service and becoming servant leaders, that they are reflective on their experiences, that they are aware of their rights and responsibilities as students of our institutions, that they know faculty, staff, and administration, that they speak up and voice their concerns in a respectful and productive way, but that they're always looking for the best interest of the institution and for themselves. That to me is success. And then helping us to recruit others to come into our institutions is student success and engagement.
That is right. Great. Like success breeds success, right? And so if students are happy and they feel like they're meeting their goals, they want to share that with other students. And just like you shared your experience of having some older cousins and family members who went to college, right? That inspires you.
It does.
And many of our students, of course, as you know, are our first generation students. They're the first in their families to ever go to college. Could you talk a little bit about how important that is and what kind of specific challenges they are overcoming as first gens?
President, can you repeat that? Because I'm looking at Barbara DeWise Bryce's question, and I got
Yeah,
distracted. What did you say?
I'm gonna come back to her question in
Okay,
just a
okay.
second. But I wanted to ask about first generation. You know, you were talking about how you had some people go ahead of you. You had some family members who went to college, but many of our students, I forget what the numbers are at Clinton, but they're pretty high of first generation students. What would you say to first generation students? What do they need to do? What does that look like to help them chart their way when they have never had anyone go before them?
Right. I think it's important for first generation students to have support systems at our institutions. Many of our HBCUs now are creating first generation student organizations or resource support teams where faculty and staff who were also first gen are mentoring those students. I believe that first gen students should, if those of you who are watching, should definitely look into your first and second year experience directors and programs, new student orientation, but also don't be afraid to say, I don't know. We know that you don't know because some of us didn't know. I didn't know. So it's important to be open to that. You know, it's important. No question is a dumb question. And students who ask questions and inquire and research and connect, they end up having a less stressful time at the institution. We have support systems that are there for you. Students, I know Dr. Morgan is brand new, but he is your point person for engagement. As he's posting flyers on Instagram and social media, if you're curious or you're interested, you should definitely attend those programs. It really, really matters. He says follow him on IG at OSER_Clinton.
Great. Let's go back to was that Dr. Bryce who was asking a question? There it is. Dr. Hodges, I'm a senior in age trying to stay positive in this online learning. What do you suggest I do to stay positive?
Well, Mr. Bryce, you know, age is nothing but a number. So your age and your senior status does not mean that you cannot represent with this. But I do know that, you know, a senior in age also means you have more responsibilities. And so again, like I said to this, I don't think it's any different for age groups. I think you have to utilize your resources. If there's a telehealth program there at the institution where you can log in and get counseling and or support services, I would say utilize that. I'm sure there's something that you can utilize that may be virtual that you can get support services for. I think reaching out to people like your president, the administration, alumni association, people like me, I'm here as a resource. If you email me or want to communicate or talk to me, we're all one family. And so I think those things are really important. I also think that even while you're doing online learning, learning about ways to connect with the community, whether it be your church and or other civic organizations in your community, will also be helpful. And then if you're close to your family, tapping into your family can also be a source of rebooting yourself.
Great. Before we get to
lastly, make sure you do some kind of fitness. That's important because you can get depressed by not, you know, getting your body moving and working the way it should.
Yeah. Before I get to Dr. McNeil's question, I want to pick up on that online learning piece. What does student success and engagement look like in this world? How many of your students are back on campus? Are you all doing a hybrid thing at EWU?
We're doing real-time remote courses online, but then we also have allowed students to come on campus if they choose to. Those of our students who live on campus, we have a little less than 300 that are on campus now that have moved back into campus. But everyone is doing virtual learning right now until we are able to continue to assess this Omarion, as I call it, the Omicron.
Yeah, so I'm sure there are a lot of challenges of doing student success and engagement in the online environment. But again, I mean, I think we all are trying, and you alluded to this earlier. It's what HBCUs do, right? We are family, we are village. We don't let anyone hide. So we're coming after you. We want to get in your face and your space, even if we have to do that virtually. So I think the persistence of staff should also result in the persistence of students in following their course of study. Let me get these other questions who are here. Dr. Brown asked, what advice would you give students trying to be involved during a time of remote learning?
I would say patience, because none of us went to school and learned how to engage people on social media None of us did this. And this is like, it's new to students, it's new to us as well. And it's frustrating. And we're zoomed out also. I would love to be at Clinton College right now in an auditorium speaking to the students face to face. But because of our situation with these, with these unprecedented times, we can't always do that. And so I would say, I know many of you watching had an awful senior year, most likely had an awful junior year or awful freshman year because of this whole COVID and Zoom experience. But just stay resilient, stay connected, and get involved as much as you can in whatever ways you can. If this is what we have to do to get engaged, this is what we have to do to get engaged. And if we remain safe and are responsible and are educated about the vaccination and about the other things of that nature, then we can get past this. And so I think that's important.
Indeed. Final question comes from Dr. McNeil. If you could go back to your VSU days to speak to your younger undergraduate self, what would you tell yourself to prepare yourself for today?
It's a lot I would tell myself, but the one that we don't have time for that. But the one thing I would say to myself that I regret not doing that my son did very well is interning. I took for granted the power of an internship. I was an English mass comm major, and I interned at WTVR News Channel 6 in Richmond, Virginia. And they had me sorting like VHS tapes, like sorting stuff on a bookshelf. And I'm like, this is whack. I'm leaving. And I didn't stick with it because I didn't feel like I wanted to be on TV. I wanted to talk like this. And so I think what I could do differently is I would have stuck with my internship, and I would have worked to create an environment where perhaps I could have been, before into education, maybe I would have been a news anchor. That was my true passion at the time. And so I actually fell upon education and fell in love with it. But if I could speak to myself back then, it would be to take advantage of internships. You have UNCF, the United Negro College Fund, you have the Thurgood Marshall College Fund that are begging students, that are begging to give away money and opportunities. And so shame on those who don't do it. You're welcome, Ms. Bryce, but shame on those who don't take advantage of it because the money and support is there.
Indeed. That is great, great advice. Well, we're glad that you chose higher education and you've taken those skills and insights as a communicator to your role as an administrator in higher ed. We want to thank you. You presented like a true alpha man today, and I can't tell you how proud I am of you, my little brother and my great cohort member. And as I tell everyone, now you're part of our extended family, Dr. Hodges. So that means you have a standing invitation to come back, and we will have you back to be a part of our family. And our prayers are with you and the Edward Waters University. Please give your president my regards. And thank you once again on behalf of the entire Golden Bear Nation. Thank you, Dr. Hodges.
Thank you. I sure will. God bless you all. Have a good semester. Hope to see y'all soon.
Indeed. We're now going to go to our alma mater. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you for engaging in your questions, and we appreciate you. Be sure to pay attention to the announcements at the end so that you can avail yourselves to the many opportunities to engage with the Clinton College family, even in a virtual platform. Let us now go to our alma mater.
Dr. Hodges, thank you for that inspirational message on today. We are so excited to move forward with student engagement and involving our students more into the Clinton community as well as our HBCU community as well. Students, please don't forget to follow us on Instagram at OSER_Clinton. There you will be able to find the Campus Activities Board applications for you to submit to be a part of that amazing experience. You'll also find the petitions for our new student organizations if you would like to start a club or organization here on campus. And also, you'll be able to see all of our programs that are coming up, whether it be from student engagement or housing and residence life as well. Next week, we'll have Mr. Michael N. Weaver, who will be our guest speaker. Mr. Weaver is the founder of the Dream Weaver Foundation. And so we're so excited for him to join us. He's a master's student at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, focusing in higher educational leadership. And so he will be graduating this May. So he's going to bring greetings to you as a graduate of Kentucky State University, former SGA president and former Mr. Kentucky State University as well. So we look forward to that. And we thank you for joining us on today. And everyone have a great, great day.